Why do such minds take the journeys from all over to come join us each year? What is our crusade, and what are we trying to accomplish here? Are you into incrementalism, or are you looking for a significantly disruptive gain in your operating environment? And I would submit the latter, and that's why you team up with IPsoft. And that's why you come here. And each year we present to you some breakthrough technologies. Each year we share with you the state of the art in artificial intelligence. How close are we? How are we approaching that Turing horizon? When he had started the thesis by saying, I propose for you to consider the question, can machines think? And what if such thinking machines that Professor Tegmark was talking about were made possible by technology, sincere artificial intelligence technology that is being invented here at IPsoft? What would the world look like? What would your organizations look like? Where would they climb on the digital Darwinistic curve? You come here to explore that each year. And we will not disappoint you this year either. We will present to you a couple of breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. And we will seek your hand in this journey. Come break away from the masses. Come take your organizations to radically more efficient models. Step gains in customer experience. Much better improved cost efficiencies in delivery. Depart from incrementalism and go with the quantum gains that have defined you. That's what we are here to explore. And let's look at how far and how have we done thus far. Majority of the queries coming into the principal analyst firms, over 80% of the queries coming in asked about Amelia. And majority of them said, how do we possibly apply this genie that they have created to our organization? No credit to us. We did not even give you a good guide rail. We basically tossed you on the side of this ocean of artificial intelligence into a deep seas and said, go swim with AI. Entire credit goes to you. 7 out of the top 10 banks have adopted Amelia for radical gains today, with no real big help from us, other than the enabling technology. 6 out of the top 10 insurance companies swam with her and have started to achieve step gains in their operating environments. Again, credit to you. But we listened to you. This time, we're going to graduate Amelia, and we are going to make her a banker. We're not just going to throw in neocortex at you. We're going to graduate her into becoming a wealth manager, an investment banker. We're going to graduate her into becoming an insurance agent, a claims administrator, a risk analyst, into a healthcare specialist, a physician's assistant. So you can have a better job, an easier job of time to value. You will see our Chief Cognitive Officer present that. And that's the one big, huge innovation that we are going to bring to the table. Last year, I had predicted by 2026, you will pass somebody in the hallway and you will not be able to tell if it's a human or an android. We are here to revise that prediction. It won't take that long. By 2025, you are going to pass somebody in the corridors, and you will not be able to tell if it's a human or an android. What Professor Tegmark was talking about, the age of AGI, would have reached us, and we would have extended the domain-based intelligence into general capability of context switching into different domains through theories of spread activations, and I'm not going to bore you with too much math. I'm frequently reminded about that. But I would say, let's start by looking, what are we going to do in the big forum today to present to you? We are going to have you bring in a revolution. You are going to bring in a revolution in the way customer service is rendered today. You are going to bring in a revolution in the way organizations get their tasks completed today. You're going to bring in a revolution in the kind of cost of delivery models that your organizations have. The perceived hyperbole of the statement does not overstate the earnestness of the impact that you are going to achieve. You are no ordinary practitioners of IT. Each one of the over 1,000 members here who have given us the privilege of hosting them here today are handpicked thought leaders in their space. And that's why you're here. So let's start challenging the assertion. And let's start by looking at what is the problem that we are trying to solve. So if we can just look at the problem. Oh, RPA raised to the power of cognitive is one desk. But if we go to the next slide, and if we look at the problem, how is it run today? How's your organization run today? You have your IT ops, you have HR, FMS, ERP, CRM in the back. Each one of them has got their independent resolver groups. But let's start from the top. You have your business users on the top. They are using various methods of communication, varying from omnichannel, Slack to Evernote to classic email to ticketing systems and Skype. All of that hits your front office. And of course, you have very strong front office tools, such as ServiceNow and others, that allow you to be able to maintain extensive ticketing and routing of the incoming exceptions, yeah? That's your front office now. But now you have routed the ticket to your expert. Let's take the journey of a ticket. You're actually having an exception. Moody's is a classic example, not far away from us, having an exception in your trading desk. You're actually trying to run a trading report. It's a Pyramid Phoenix report. You place a call, you get your service desk management person, picks up the phone, it's a Phoenix batch report exception. It affects Moody's ability to publish its reports. So the person opens quickly a ticket, and now he dispatches it to the right person in the back end, who is the resolver group expert, yeah, the back office expert. Now this person is a Hyperion expert, he's a Pyramid expert, a Phoenix expert. He does the fixes. He says, oh, I need this more data. He sends the request back up. The ticket gets updated. Now you're down to about 2 hours of middleware ticket opening, another 2 hours of the person finally getting to that ticket, responding back, and now another 2 hours that you attend to it, and average MTTRs varying anywhere between 6 to 18 hours in an efficiently run corporation for getting your requests handled. A real request, not a trivial password reset and unlock an account. So we have tried to automate it. And how do we automate it? We throw in a little cute chatbot in the front. You see that on the right side? The top of it, chatbot. And that's your little AI chatbot that does classic, my AD is having a problem, can you reset my password, and all those other things. Cute and helpful. You do have human middleware in the middle, and then you have a massive ticket generation machine in the middle. And then this system also routes the task to the appropriate, so you have a router that routes the task to the appropriate experts that can actually solve the problem. In the back end now, you have your human resolver groups that work. Now, they often use some RPAs now. Robotic process automation. And then we have a digital underbelly now of what is machine learning. And that is your typical algorithms that can actually supplement and augment the RPA models. Now, all of this, think about where you take two conductors of copper and you put a layer of foam in the middle. What happens to the speed of conduction of electricity? Drops from the speed of light to 0. The weakest link in the chain, ladies and gentlemen, is going to govern and dictate the strength of the chain. The MTTR is going to be dragged down the moment you have any element of human middleware. And we have plenty of little middlewares in the middle, plenty of them, to cause us to actually lose efficiencies in the model today. So can we move to a model like, can we actually deploy a cognitive agent, a natural language understanding cognitive agent on the front office. Take over the front office with a cognitive agent who understands natural language. And can we layer on autonomic competence on the back end? The ability to self-create and self-heal systems, empirically learning systems that can actually self-correct exceptions in your environment. And can we direct connect the business user directly to the applications that service him and elevate the role of engineers to be experts from whom this end-to-end system learns? Have you not brought in a complete revolution to the way your organization is run? Have you not brought in step efficiencies through self-empowerment of the business user being able to get his tasks done without having to have layers and layers and layers of middleware to deal with? Have you not converged cognitive competence and autonomic back-end competence to provide an end-to-end automated solution, which is the holy grail? End-to-end automation. Piecewise automation does not work. RPAs, level of customer satisfaction in our RPAs, 45% people are dissatisfied with RPAs. Why? A good friend of ours who's here, who was the chief operating officer of IT at Goldman, said it better than I could. Don, I know you're here, Don Dube. Manual automation is an oxymoron. You cannot have manually trained tasks and call it automation because you're just shifting the task of labor from one side to the other. So let's now challenge this thing. Can this breakthrough really happen? Is this really possible? The good news is we have several esteemed analysts here who have been kind enough to rate us number one in autonomic technologies for over 2 decades, and now number one in cognitive technologies for the last few years running now. Can we combine the eminence, the preeminence that we have got on the cognitive stack and the autonomic stack to deliver such an end-to-end solution for you? And so why don't we test this assertion? Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the first holy grail of end-to-end automation, the way organizations of future would be run. We present to you one desk. The fusion of cognitive competence displacing front office and autonomic competence displacing back office, disintermediating classic amounts of human middleware and significant amount of human middleware labor. As you can see on the top right, what are you in the business of? You're in the business of efficiencies, and you can see with the automata you are actually achieving 258 FTEs equivalent worth of work right now. You can see the trend in this environment, which is our platform for support that we are showing you live, by the way. And we do not, as you could see, the veracity of a demo lies in it not being canned. All canned demos are false. It needs to be real. Network should go down, but we should do it real, and we should be sincere about it. You can see the extent of growth that happens in the amount of FTE savings that you're achieving on the front end by your autonomic agents there. You can also start to see your end-to-end automation segment here, and you can see your quality of service, which is the Lean Six Sigma, must be programmatically enforced, cannot be human volition-based, algorithmically enforced, algorithmically driven organizations is the only way that you can achieve good QoS scores. And you can see that being driven. So let's drill down into, and of course you can subscribe to IP Feed, but you've looked at plenty of these ITSM platforms. Let's look at the end-to-end first. This is the first time you're seeing an end-to-end automation story. Live. This is not a JPEG. This is a live system doing end-to-end automation. Follow the story. as it applies to you. Your organization is having omni-channel inputs coming in on the top left, whether it is web, app, any of the texts or email, inputs are coming in. You have a cognitive agent classifying it, but that's not the only way you have things happening in your environment. No, you also have exceptions coming into your environment through monitoring exceptions. And so you see on the top right where you have a monitoring, discovery ways in which exceptions are coming into your environment. Yeah? You have your monitoring agents, you have your predictive correlation agents, you have your filtering agents, and they are finding elements in your environment, exceptions, and also pushing it in. But you also have logs. They're also generating, giving you indication of things going on in your environment. Yeah? Everyone here is familiar with how you are noticing exceptions in your environment. They all converge here into your converged bus here that is saying, these are all my front office tasks that are converging here, and now my autonomic backbone here takes over. You can see the best practices of ITSM must be adhered to. You have incident request, change, problem, and lookups, all of those things we must have here. We classify it, first thing we must do. Then what do you do after that, after classifying it? Well, you must try to see if you can run it automatically. You can resolve it automatically. That's where you see automata kick in here, and that's where you see RPA. RPA has a very important role to play. Yeah? This is server-side automation through IP automata. RPA is your desktop automation. Yeah? Very important role, but a role to play, not the end-to-end story. Yeah? RPA is playing a role here. Let's say automata could not solve it. Now, what do you do with this issue that's happening? You must dispatch to a manager, but your manager here must be an algorithmic manager. He must be a programmatic manager who dispatches, uses best principles to be able to dispatch it to the right engineer. And this is the only bucket where humans come in. And they're only coming in, they have been elevated. They're only coming in as experts. They're the Anthony Martucci's. They're only coming in as experts. When the automation could not solve a problem, it's now reaching an Anthony and saying, we need for you to be able to fix the problem. But here's the kicker. How bad manual automation is. Let's resolve today to say no to manual automation. Thinking minds like you should resolve today to say no to just ticketing systems. What is ticketing? It's inherently queuing. Queuing is inherently latent system. When this manual engineer has been invoked, we have contacted a human expert. When Anthony goes and fixes a problem, the automation agent better be listening and automatically augmenting its mind map to learn from what Anthony did so that next time, fix once, forever fixed. And that's what you can see. It goes into the pending automata, pending RPA, and CSI queue for approval. As soon as you have a batch approval queue, it's approved. Where does it go back? And you can see it goes right back into the pool of automations here. If you fix things once by a manual agent, it should be forever fixed. If we look at, like, say, an exception here, it should be predictive, the one that was coming in. And if Ergun can drill down into showing you quickly the back end of this, and then we will quickly fast forward that into the cognitive overlay.
Perfect. So what we want to quickly do, for those of you in the room, we all know monitoring very well. I doubt anybody in this room gets excited by monitoring. What you really care about are incidents, and more importantly, avoidance of them. Instead of waiting for an alarm to trip somewhere, can you be predictive? Take a very quick example. I have a number of friends here from Morgan Stanley. This is an example that I looked at with Catherine Wetmore years ago. You have a trading plant. In your trading plant, you have CPU and memory utilization. Basic metrics we all look at. However, when you're looking at events around CPU and memory utilization, I think we all realize that you can't just set a threshold. Here you have CPU memory utilization, predictive analytics, detecting that an incident occurred on a specific trading plant. But what foundation did it use to detect it? Let's take a very quick look, and this is what makes it interesting. On the left side here, you have your ready queue, your work queue, your pending queue. There's a system governing and tracking every task that comes in. Doesn't matter if it's predictive, doesn't matter if it's monitoring, doesn't matter if it's a conversation, an incident, a request, or a change. Everything is governed by the platform and routed to a human or a machine. Tenets you've always heard us speak of. But on the right side, we're actually looking at a predictive anomaly detected and processed, and quickly show you through a workflow that governs how to manage. Now, simple example. What generated this event? If we pull it up and we take a look at the examples behind the scenes, we'll see, oh, we have events from a few different boxes, probably a clustered environment, a combination of memory and CPU utilization. Not surprising. Anybody in this room can tell me you set a high threshold for CPU utilization. If it passes that, generate an alarm. If you're running a fixed income and derivatives trading plant at Morgan Stanley, it's Sunday, 5 in the afternoon, and you have high CPU utilization, be concerned. If it's Monday, 10 a.m., New York market just opened, and you don't have high CPU utilization, be concerned. That is what we mean by anomaly and predictive. If we take a look here at each of these individual events and drill right, this is the idea is as you go in towards the right, we're getting more and deeper, technically richer incident information. You can actually see how this memory utilization changed. And in parallel, you can see how CPU utilization changed. And what the system did is said, oh, if I look at the history of behavior at 8:56 a.m. during market hours, if suddenly CPU utilization drops, hold on. That is not expected behavior. That is not what history tells me. If it happened at the end of the day Friday, fine. Dynamic time warping will tell you, don't worry about that. But if you're at Morgan, 10 a.m., and your core trading platform is not using CPU utilization, you want to know. You expect that's a problem. You don't set thresholds for this. This is very different. You recognize patterns by learning how the environment behaves. We're already having conversations with some of our friends, Dave Yeager at UBS, Catherine at Morgan Stanley. Can we take a look at that event data, how the environment behaves, and build an intelligent system based on it? But more importantly, this trading plant had a problem because of an Oracle database. Shocking, I know. The good news is, and those of you that have known us for some time, one of the core strengths that has translated over our 20 years of experience are autonomous engineers that have already come pre-built with predefined capabilities. This is an autonomous DBA for Oracle that knows how to handle Oracle 11g R2 process issues, how to handle an Oracle blocking lock. You detect the anomaly, predict something may go happen, and now leverage my autonomous DBA to handle it. And of course, you have autonomous network engineer to check the network in parallel. You have autonomous systems engineer, autonomous application engineer. As you flow through these, if anybody's interested, anybody knows me, I could talk about this all day. I'll try to rein myself in.
But I would say the brilliant part was that predictive analytics in the autonomic part, ability to recover a flight before it hits, it's operating at 39,000 feet. Too bad we let it fall down to the ocean before we actually start to pick the pieces up. We need to be able to predictively find deterioration in the normal operating conditions of the flight and recover it before it falls down. The trading desk, you see dynamic thresholds. This flight at the trading desk I was actually losing altitude. We will actually try to recover it before. And that is a brilliant advancement that Ergun presented here. But forget everything that he just showed you. Do you really need to know Michael Faraday's principles of induction to turn on the light switch? Do you really need to understand everything about the ITSM and autonomic and switching system and service catalog and everything that goes on, which is best practices, by the way, for you to be able to get your business operating conditions handled? We would submit no. This year, you meet Lauren's lookalike avatar, Amelia as your digital colleague who will handle everything for you. So what are the kind of tasks we talk about we will challenge her with? We'll talk about, take any of my tasks that I need to run my organization. You think it is enterprise operating system? Okay, let's challenge her. I am Kudo-san, I'm Jennifer Hewitt. I run my Credit Suisse, very complex, large organization. I need to be able to handle all my IT operations. Incident, change, request, problem, batch, reporting, all of that I need to be able to handle. And I need to be able to handle all my shared services. I need to be able to handle my HR. I need to be able to handle my FMS. And what you're telling me is all I need to handle everything in my environment as a business user is just this. I have a phone, and I will actually talk to Amelia, my very, very helpful digital colleague who will not just route it for me, but will be able to solve it for me. So let's test her. Let's test her in each one of the brackets, and we'll invite your participation in this as well. Go ahead.
So, in the audience, we have some of your peers, Chief Executive Officer from Beck Dickinson, Rich Pierley. Today, he's leading an initiative around innovation in a complex enterprise firm. We all know the challenges about driving the type of change that we mandate. One of the things that he's taken on already is service requests across the organization, and obviously a very common one, how do I get guest Wi-Fi? I don't know if anybody tried to get Wi-Fi here, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So having a quick conversation with Amelia, let's try and speak, and we'll see if with the echoes and the stage it all works well. Let's ask Amelia, I need to set up guest Wi-Fi.
Okay. Internet access will be granted to the guest on their laptop using an account specifically set up for them. Please note that this service is only available in certain locations. Please select the location to which the guest needs Wi-Fi access.
Okay, very good. Recognize what I'm talking about. As you can tell, even deals with the variance of speech to text, recognizes what we meant as opposed to what we said. New York.
Now I need to collect some information about the individual who will need Wi-Fi access. Please enter the organization's name.
We'll just type in BD.
Can you please provide the guest's email address?
And Rich is going to kill me for giving out his email address. Do not email him because of me.
Please enter the start date.
Today.
Please enter the end date.
Tomorrow.
Do you want to submit the request for Wi-Fi?
Sure. So I'll mute Amelia. She'll take care of the request. Very simple. We all know this. Now, I don't know if anybody was following along, but in the back, as we're speaking, that cognitive intelligence was running. The autonomic intelligence was running. In that simple conversation, you generated a service request. You fully qualified a task. You understood what the user meant. A simple requirement I suggest. In each of your organizations today, your business user is dragged down to the weeds of IT and needs to know, am I supposed to create an incident? Is this a service request? Is this a change request? All of us IT people know what that means. Our business customers should never have to know what that means. Just ask for what you need. Let's continue. We're going to ask her a quick question around helping me fix a problem. Can you help me fix Outlook? I'll turn our audio back on.
Into your email account Ergun Ekici at ipsoft.com.
And if you actually see the little bubbles moving, the update trigger, she's actually fully qualifying the task, the counters went up.
Good news. I was able to start working on your email issue.
A new fully qualified
It may
task.
take me up to 30 seconds to resolve the issue. Please give me a few moments to complete working on the...
Go ahead, Jen.
This was very important, and that's why I asked our technical experts to actually show you, for those of you who like beautiful kidneys or are infatuated with human neocortex, like I am, you would enjoy this. This is not your grandma's chatbot or your kid's chatbot.
My grandma.
This is an actual emulation of, you see those emissions from your different parts of your neocortex? This visual is an actual, this is an actual emission of what is happening in your brain, Amelia's brain, as she is responding with the different parts of her brain. And so you see her semantic one on the top respond, you see the episodic one respond, you see the arbitration one respond, because our human brain is arbitrating and disambiguating. You will see her affective one, emotional one respond. You will see her analytic one respond. All of those parts of her brain are responding together. And just like your brain forms an integration of all of those to be able to provide you a vectored, knowledgeable output, that's what makes her the most human AI that is present in the market today. So observe it as you see what goes up when he interacts. Please go ahead, Ergun interaction.
Oh, I will continue very quickly. She just asks me if everything's okay. I'll say, perfect. She says, thanks. Can I help you with anything else? Again, if you were able to follow along, inside the end-to-end platform, a new Amelia task through chat was created, a fully qualified task where the system understood what you meant. Driving to a request, automation running, never got to a person, but still fully cataloged. Now we ask more of a user help issue. Again, I'll turn on our audio, and I'll say, I need to recover deleted email.
Sure, I can help you recover the email. First, select the deleted items folder from the left pane of your Outlook window. From the top of the window, select Recover Deleted Items. Shall we proceed further?
The simple mindset should be, can a cognitive agent be your enterprise concierge? Across the firm, talk about the types of things you need help with. Don't worry about, is it an IT task, is it an HR task, is it a finance task, is it an incident request? We are showing each of them here. But the thing you worry about is, what do you need done? Quickly continuing, and we'll say, yes, please.
A dialog box will pop up. Choose the email that you want to recover, click on Recover, and then OK. Has the email been restored now?
Type yes.
I'm glad that I could assist you today. Have a great day ahead.
Very positive, very constructive.
And now these are decision tree kind of things that you have seen in the past, but let's raise up the ante. Let's start challenging her with running bad jobs, for instance. For Moody's, we run that. And I think we should start, by the way, you're seeing in the back end the actual flow of the information as Amelia is handling. This is the back end that you don't need to see, ever worry about, because you're just interacting with that your digital assistant has, digital colleague has. And this is happening in the back end, this is happening in her brain, this is the cognitive front end, and that's the autonomic backbone. And you can see what's happening there to be able to give you that nice little natural language understanding for the future of enterprise, where you're able to get all your tasks done in natural language.
Very good. So continuing that,
When would you like me to do it?
Friends at Moody's. We work with Moody's, or candidly, any complex batch environment. I would say finance environment, we know batches are part of our world. So are those lovely reports we need to run every day, end of last day report, end of quarter report, T+1 reports, audit and compliance reports. Be able to have a conversation. Hey, can you help me run this report? Sure. When? You're typically time sensitive. I'll even look at my time as 10:08, so I'll say 10 a.m. I could have typed it. I mean, I could have said it, but I'll just type it. Great.
Okay, I will run it at 2018-06-080T1010-0400, America, New York.
Now you suspend the thread. You're like, got it, I know what you needed, I will go run it, and I'm going to hold this conversation for you as you do that. But I probably need something else in the meantime, right? I'm going to need help with something else. I'm not done here. I cannot just wait. So, welcome to multi-threaded cognitive OS. The ability to have multiple conversations across your domain, be able to start something, say you're doing, say, got it, I'm on it, and then, hey, you know what, actually, let's talk about something else in the meantime. There's another topic I need help with. And in this case, as many of you can imagine, after the run-up to this event, I need a vacation. Shocking, I know. So let's tell Amelia. I'm thinking about a vacation. How does August look?
Request or to check your PTO balance?
Now take a look at what she said. How interesting is that? The biggest challenge with humans is variance. We do not follow scripts. If Jennifer's service desk customers followed scripts when they called in to the Credit Suisse service desk asking for how to solve an IT task, she would not need AI. Put a chatbot, you're done. Humans are full of ambiguity and variance, and that is the role of cognitive intelligence. I said, hey, you know what? I need a vacation. How does August look? But what did I mean? Am I trying to see how many PTO days do I have left, or am I trying to actually schedule something? It's unclear. The role of cognitive is to be able to ask, clarify, disambiguate through dialogue. Hey, just help me narrow down what is it you actually need help with, and I'm able to act on it for you. That happens dynamically, not through scripting. You can't script for every possible clarifying question you need to answer. So, quickly continuing. Actually, let's check my PTO balance.
Now, complete context
You
switch
currently
here.
have 17 vacation days and 6 sick days left. Do you want to take some time off?
Very good. Understood the context. Now, actually, and Chetan will excuse me here,
Yeah.
but I have a few expense reports outstanding, depending on approval for some young gentlemen. Obviously, I'd like to get those in before I worry about my vacation. So maybe I change the topic. Human variance again. I go to a related, but completely unrelated to the question that was asked to me. If you've met Amelia before, you know these are the things that make cognitive intelligence different from chatbots.
And this is where 99% of chatbots will fail. Unless you emulate human brain's ability to context switch, which it does by spread activating a certain segment of your neocortex, which signal beta attenuates over time, and then when you change the context, it retains that state and lights up another section of your neural chain from dendrites to tentacles, and that beta attenuates over time. But that has become the new focus. And then you can switch between these different lit segments of your brain. And the theory, if you're interested, is the theory of spread activation and beta attenuation over a period of time. But that's really what you need to be able to context switch in a very intelligent way and to provide a rich customer experience to your end customer.
So, quickly continuing, let's say, hold on, I need to check the status of an expense report.
Sure, I'll be happy to check. Can you please give me the expense report ID number to look it up?
And the good news is, by the way, she types a lot better than I do. Continuing with that, let's say, who remembers?
No problem. What is the report name or description?
I never do remember. Tokyo, I think.
I noticed travel. Tokyo is currently pending a manager's approval. Would you like me to send them a reminder email about it?
Yes, please.
Sure, I will email them right away. Did you also want confirmation via text message?
No, thanks. I don't need to be texted.
Do you want to continue with your days off balance?
Now, two things happen here. One, in the conversation, you'll note she remembered context. We were talking about all these things. I ended up talking about expense report. By the way, you remember you wanted to talk about that vacation. Shall we go back to that? It's a very simple but important thing. I am in a room full of very intelligent people. How many of us would sound smart if we had no context in a conversation? How could AI sound smart then if it has no context in the conversation? You have to remember context. But something more interesting happened while we had this conversation. I don't know how many of you noticed. But in that multi-threaded brain, your cognitive agent, her lookalike, noticed a severity 1 incident happening in the environment in parallel and said, great, by the way, red icon, we have a priority issue, you should know about it. Imagine you have your iPhone and you're having a conversation and he says, by the way, you're living in a multi-threaded world, I need to interrupt. Let's see what your cognitively enabled autonomic platform.
Pardon the interruption. Would you like me to attempt to run automation and solve this issue? Otherwise, given the severity of this incident, I will escalate to a senior engineer.
Let's ask Amelia.
I have received severity 1 incident 4580.
We'll mute her. So let's say now, she spotted an incident. Side note, hey, Ergun, if you saw IP feed in that entry screen, I know you registered to be aware of every 7.1 issue. Maybe you specifically say, I just want to be about database issues or HR issues. Here's something relevant to you right now. Thank you, Amelia. Understood. Let's tell her to go ahead and fix it.
I have run the automation Oracle 11 grams R2 process handler. It has resolved the incident.
Now, you're able to see intelligence. Had a quick conversation, severity 1 came up, hey, do you want me to handle it or get you a senior engineer right now? I said, please take a pass if you can. She takes a pass, she's actually able to solve it, and voila. You're able to bring it up, see the event, it's already fixed, your Oracle problem happened, but it caused no delay before it got to the right person to take an action. Imagine you had to wait for somebody to pick up the alert, figure out what it was, figure out they need to call me, and then call me to make a decision before they ever get on the server and restart it, because it's a key business application during business hours. Don't underestimate the impact of those delays. In every enterprise here, you'll have these challenges. So, quickly, let's continue, and I want to show you another conversation. Amelia helping us with another problem. Come back. And I'm going to say, let's say, I cannot access my application.
I'll be happy to get that sorted for you. I will need to pull in one of our application administrators into the chat to help us resolve the issue. Is now a good time for that chat?
So today, your peers like Guardian Life are planning on how they leverage these type of technology to help them share services, help them with services around Workday. I can't get to Workday. I can't actually. I'm sure many of you have in your environments today. I need help with something. Can I put my cognitive agent in front of Workday, in front of Concur, in front of Salesforce, and give it one natural front end? I'm going to ask her, please do escalate, because I need help from an expert. And by the way, if you're looking at the screen, I apologize. Excuse me, Lauren. You'll actually see here it routing down. So this is the first time in everything that we did, you see the manager view come into play. Because the manager view is now saying, hold on, you actually need a human being. Let me now go, route, and allow you to get to a human being who can pick up that conversation. So we're routing it through. It's going to actually reach out to some of our peers out there and let them pick them up.
So, Ergun, at this point,
what I want to do is check out that host and see how it's going for you. So we're going to use IP Connect inside of OneDesk, and it's going to authenticate me against my credentials, and it's going to log on to that system that's throwing an alarm for Ergun. So first, let's see if the application's up and running.
You can actually see, by the way, at the top, Amelia's told us Amelia is no longer taking the conversation. Anthony is now responsible for that dialogue. So she's letting us know. Now imagine you're in the middle of a complex organization. I have friends here from Chase. You have 300,000 employees. How in the world do you figure out who is the right person to talk to right now about a specific issue? Leverage technology to navigate the organization and find you the right person in real time and connect you. Please.
So Ergun, there's a database on this box too. Did a health check on the database, and there are blockers on the database that cause the app to crash. Is it cool if I kill those things off?
Absolutely. Please go ahead. Let's see if you're seeing on the screen. He is actually on the command line. He is on the machine. And he's doing it through your OneDesk autonomic cognitive platform. It's actually built into a browser, not a fake client somewhere else. And the very important thing here to remember, if you remember what Chetan spoke about in end-to-end automation, is can you watch what is happening?
Is the automatic read?
Can you learn as you go?
Can you show that?
Please.
So blocking logs are cleared, applications online, pulled content from it, your application should be up and running. In the background, while I was just typing these out, what you'll see here on the screen is the automation that was built for me just by connecting to the machine and executing commands. So this happens for every connection that goes through OneDesk. And an automation is always generated and then submitted for QA.
Automatically generated automation is the way to achieve end-to-end efficiencies. You cannot manually generate automation. You need to be able to see the mind map of what Anthony was doing, was creating this automation in the back end dynamically. So I think we have taken advantage of the fact that we have a really intellectually charged audience, and we have really tried to drill down into showing you the belly and the inside of the brain of Amelia on the cognitive front end and the backbone of how she's automatically generating automation and learning, taking advantage of the fact that we have a really discerning audience that wants to see the innards, to be able to be convinced that it can actually do what we have always wanted technology to do, which is answer to the business user in a natural language interface without having the business user to have to step down and understand anything about the ITSM platform or anything about the back end. We do not need to know about Faraday's principles of induction to turn on the light switch. Imagine if we converge the cognitive front end with the autonomic backbone. Would you not have revolutionized the way your IT companies are run, the way your HRs are run, the way your FMS is run? Would you not have ushered in a new era of radical efficiencies in your operating environments? We thank you for the privilege of joining us in this journey. And it's been great getting a chance to interact with you. Thank you very much.